Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at Kino's Journey, Episode 4. Should I call it Shizu's Journey, Episode 4? So, if you guys didn't realize, this whole episode focuses on Shizu, who is a character we saw, I think, in Episode 2, if I'm not mistaken. It was during the arena combat, where Kino had met this swordsman who basically cut bullets in half, but then, killed his father, who was actually the country's leader, and he went off on his own kind of pilgrimage to explore the world, while Kino also did the same, obviously. But what's interesting is that I didn't think this show would do something like this, where we have this kind of split perspective. Like at one point, it would just take a kind of break from Kino and then focus on someone else. I didn't see that coming. And if you guys can, leave in the comments if you watched the original one, tell me if that actually happened in the original. I'm not sure about that. I know I've read some of the source material, like the light novels. I've read some of them, not all of them, mind you. But I never remember any of this happening. So it's like, I know this is like kind of a reboot / restart to the series. So if you guys can tell me where this came from, or if this was even a thing before, I would love to know. So comment below. But anyways, a kind of quick explanation of this whole thing, because I think this actual story was very interesting. So Shizu goes to this floating country to, basically see how they are living, and also to means of going to another country, because he's trying to find, obviously, a place to settle down. When he gets there, he's met by these kind of weird guardians, which almost remind me of black mages. If you guys played Final Fantasy series, they remind me of that, with like the whole hats and everything, and even the faces where you can't really see them. But they ask him, you want to be a supervisor of everyone? You could watch over the workers and, make sure they don't do anything wrong because they try to petition against us, etc. Or you can be a lowly worker and, do hard labor, etc. And he goes with the latter. He's like, I'd rather be a humble man and work with everyone else. Which surprises them, mind you. It does surprise them, but I don't think any of us are surprised by that fact. He ends up going there. He ends up meeting the village. They seem like a really nice people on this kind of floating ship. He also meets another character, T, who apparently is supposed to be his watch taker, or was basically his guardian, I should say, like his supervisor or guardian. But she doesn't talk. She's very quiet, etc. Now, skipping ahead, obviously, at one point the ship starts shaking horribly. This is like midway through the episode. And we learn that the ship has actually been poorly maintained for the last couple of years, to the point that now a lot of the floating devices are starting to kind of break down. And as Riku says, and as Shizu also figures out, if left unchecked and unfixed, all these things will just fall apart eventually, and the ship will sink. But, the Guardians don't seem like they want to do anything. Even though they're supposed to be governing the people and protecting them, they're not trying anything for that reason, which is very odd. So he goes off to confront them, and this is where we actually see a Guardian come out to face him, which is actually Kino in disguise. That wasn't a surprise to me. Like, I know some people might have been surprised, but the fact that she pulled out one gun and then pulled out another one, and also the fact that they talked about a traveler ending up on the ship at one point, aside from Shizu, I was like, nah, that's Kino, watching be Kino, and lo and behold it was. But after he meets the Guardians, they disappear because, yeah, they just completely disappear, like they vanish. We learn more about the ship when they finally get back on land, where apparently it was governed by a kind of artificial intelligence. Like the Guardians were actually like a weird kind of presence there with no physical body. They were actually artificially created. And they wanted to protect the people, but at the same time, the people had gotten so used to living on this island, floating island essentially, that they haven't tried to do anything. They haven't tried to fix anything. They haven't wanted to do anything. They didn't want to go to land because they can't survive on land. And the Guardians did their best to, keep them safe, but equally they can only do so much. As we find out, they're not really actual beings. This is where then T, basically T and Shizu get not thrown off per se, but they're told to leave, obviously, because they don't want to hear, the people of the thing don't want to hear the lies that they have spouting. Like, he's trying to warn them, hey, your ship's about to sink. No, they don't want to do that. They just want to go continue on with their lives, whatever. It's very interesting because that plays into a concept that really does exist in the real world, with countries that believe that, hey, everything's perfectly okay. They live behind this veil of ignorance, which, by the way, if you guys don't know what veil of ignorance is, think of it's a criminal justice term, but think of it in the sense of living behind a fake, falsality. So you know that things around you are bad, but you'd rather live in a nice, comfy place in your mind and be like, oh, no, everything's okay, we're fine. That's the concept of a veil of ignorance to a T. And, some people might overly correct me, but it's the main goal of it. But, T ends up, basically stabbing Shizu, which, why not? I really, to be honest with you, I don't know why she does that. I want to say it's because she feels like he was going to abandon her, but, he ended up not abandoning her, he actually ended up taking with her, etc., but that was weird. That was legitimately weird. I don't really have an explanation for that. But then as he's dying and he's telling her, you know, hey, listen, we'll live together, we'll support each other, etc. She's then gonna throw a grenade and kill each other because they're like, oh, she doesn't want to be abandoned. Listen, girl, grenade and knife. Where did she pull the grenade out from? Okay, first and foremost, I want to know that. Second off, would you take someone in that just try to kill you with a grenade? I don't know if that would be a thing on my project. I don't care how, you know, hey, listen, I get the little cute girl, you know, you want to protect her because she's adorable, etc., and maybe raise her up, etc. But dude, she's trying to kill you with a knife and a grenade. That's a little much, but whatever. Okay, I won't question it, Shizu. You do your thing. You know, you got talking dog Riku over there, whatever. But Kino saved the day, obviously, and they were basically okay. Now, what's very interesting is the very end line from Kino, because we switch back to her perspective, is that Kino at one point says if they meet again in the future, he's going to be very surprised. I'm like, why? You actually know what's going to happen in the future? I'm like, I'm curious about that. It's very interesting to me. But anyways, I love this episode. I think this was a great episode. It was something that it has, again, real life concepts in with the whole village and stuff like that. And I think it was a great episode. I really do. I think this is one of my favorite ones so far, to be honest with you. And it's not just because I like Shizu. Shizu's a cool character, but, you know, Kino also is pretty cool too. So I like the little break that we had. Hopefully they do that with other characters too. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing, like, for example, the one guy we had from the very first episode. Not the first guy, the second one, that was trying to find a you know, quiet life to live. I would like to see his perspective, see it like that or something like that. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. As always, if you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can get to 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year. I think it's possible. I do think it's possible, but it's only possible with your help, guys and girls. You know, I'd really appreciate some, you know, sharing the videos, etc. And also check out my Patreon if you want some rewards on there, etc. I will talk to you later. I have a Deus Area episode, I think 3 or 4, whichever one. I can't remember off the top of my head. I have that coming out probably in like an hour, probably less than that. I still have to watch the episode, so I'll talk to you guys then, though. Bye-bye, everyone.